Hi, it's Rafael the Realtor. And so this video is about common mistakes people make when evaluating a home they want to buy. So it's part of a three-part series, and I decided to kind of start with a broader theory, kind of intangible thing of common mistakes people make when they're going to buy a house. Then I want to move in a second video into things that are a little bit more tangible, a little bit more closer to home. And then the last one is going to be, in Japanese it's komakai, like more detailed. It's going to be more detailed about the actual home in the home buying process. So the first mistake that you make in the more theoretical side is watching too much TV. A lot of people right now, home improvement shows, they're playing all the time, and a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions based on those shows. You know, some twin brothers go around and tell you this is how much a house is worth, this is what they sell for, and this is what it takes to fix it up to make you a dream home. In reality, that's a TV show, and sometimes the places that they're showing you aren't in California, so you get a skewed vision of what you think homes are worth and what they're going for. You might find a great home in North Carolina for $400,000 that's 3,000 square feet on 5 acres, and it's a dream. And for $400,000 in some areas of California, you're looking at a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square foot home, and that's on the cheap end. And so it might be very difficult to come to terms with that. So I always advise people to try to get rid of those ideas, try to not focus too much on what they do on TV and actually use the market, what's for sale, what things are being sold for in the area as your yardstick to measure whether or not it's good investment or not. And so the second thing is not realizing that this move might be the first in a series of moves through your life. For some people, and in some of my other videos, I go over when you're buying a house, you may not stay there forever. Your job may move you. You may have a lot of kids, or you may have a lot of pets that require more land, that require more bedrooms. You may have a sick parent move in with you, or just a regular parent who just wants to live closer, help you take care of the grandkids. Whatever the reason is, through the phases of life, people tend to move, especially in California, 4 to 5 times within their lifetime, and every 5 to 7 years, or 5 to 9 years recently. And so because of that, you need to not make the mistake that this is going to be my last home, this is going to be my dream home. You should start thinking from the very beginning that this might just be step 1 on a staircase to my goals. Okay? And so the next thing I would say is fear. Not being afraid when you're out there buying a house. I know it's scary. You're most likely going to spend anywhere from $350,000 if you're lucky to buy a condo to $1 million or more to buy a house, and you're going to be terrified. You're going to want to try to save a lot of money, try to make the most of what you can. And sometimes you get so afraid that it puts you in a situation where you end up not taking any action. And that's the worst situation to be in if you're trying to buy a house. You have to kind of make a decision, figure out what your budget is, and look at the homes, get to know the market with your agent, and make a decision. Find a place that you can make your own. And then the next thing is people not understanding that, making the mistake of not understanding that this house, the way it looks right now, isn't the way it's going to look forever. Once you move in, you're going to be able to change things. You can upgrade stuff, you could buy things, and it doesn't have to happen overnight. Nobody you know is going to judge you for not having the most beautiful house on the block, which is part of this thing. And trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to start off with the best house, sometimes can put you in a bad situation. There's a rule in real estate that we say that, well, real estate investors say, is you always want to have the worst house on the block. If you're looking to buy a house, the worst house on the block is worth more than the best house on the block. And why that is because if you're in a great neighborhood and there's one really rundown house, that rundown house is gonna sell for less than the other houses. But by the time you fix it up, you're gonna get a lot of value into that house, which means that your equity is gonna go up. because other houses in the neighborhood might be worth $500,000. Because this house was messed up, you might get it for $350,000, $400,000, $450,000. And after you put some money into it, let's say you put $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, you might get a gap. So you put $40,000 into it and you bought the house for $400,000, and so that's $440,000. And now because of the improvements you made, because you made the front yard look so beautiful, your house is now going to be worth what the other houses in the neighborhood are generally worth, which might be anywhere from $480,000 to $500,000. And you just went from buying a house to having $60,000 of equity in your home, which means that as you pay down your mortgage, you're going to hit that $100,000 mark way faster, and you'll be able to buy a new home. But on the flip side, if you go to a bad neighborhood and there's one beautiful house there, like it looks like a mansion in just a really not the best neighborhood, the other houses, because their value is so low, is going to bring down the value of that mansion. So even though you got to keep up with the Joneses and you have the most beautiful house in the area, you're not going to get the house value. And that's really important, and what people really don't know that they really love about the house they're going to buy. And that goes into the final part of this whole thing, which is buying your house as a fairy tale instead of buying it as an investment. A lot of people, they make the mistake of thinking of their house as they're trying to accomplish some fairy tale goal, and they don't see it as an investment, which means that when they buy that house, they don't consider that this might be a house that they're going to sell and move to a different state with. This might be a house that, you know, they're going to pass on to their kids. And so they just buy a house that feels good to them right now. They don't do any research because, for example, if you live by the 210 freeway in San Bernardino County, all the way further east, I remember when I was a kid, the 210 freeway didn't even go that far. And you bought a house there, and that house had a lot of value, it was great, and now there might be a freeway in your backyard. And if there's a freeway in your backyard now, your house value is going to drop down a little bit. Naturally, all the houses have gone up in value since the 210 freeway was built because more people actually live out here, but you take a slight hit to your value because that goes down. And so thinking about those kind of things, if after there's a big fire, do you want to live in the mountains? If we have major rains right now, do you want to live near at the foothills of the mountains? Are you ready to deal with mudslides? What happens if there's a fire or a mudslide and your house gets wiped out? Thinking of it as an investment, not just thinking, oh, I love waking up and looking out over the great view and seeing, you know, the whole city. Those things are great, but also being aware that when you choose a house like that, you might put yourself at risk of your house falling down the mountain or being on fire. And thinking of it as an investment is going to really make you more comfortable. And if you do your research, there might be a freeway coming in, there might be a new train line. Right now they're building a gold line. The gold line is extending out here, and I heard their plans to take it all the way to Ontario Airport. If that happens, does your home fall in the prospective area? And if you're buying a house there, how is that going to affect you? Because if you start having a train coming through your neighborhood, your house value is probably going to go down a little bit, and it's going to make you rather unhappy. So that's the first video on common mistakes people make when evaluating a home. All right, so keep watching. There should be 2 more videos that will give you a little bit more information and hopefully put you on the right track. And like I always say, you can't always be the best at everything, but you can choose to work with the best agent who gives you great information for free. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.